Alright, I'm not proud of this. I haven't budgeted in 6 months. 6 months of spending today, all of it. I'm going to be putting in our real numbers and I'm going to take you along with me. I'm starting by putting in all of our income followed by our expenses. There are quite a few, and since I'm populating this for the first time today, there are quite a few that I'm editing as I go, but it's giving me a really good visual on how much money we're spending. Alright, I'm starting with January, and the first thing I noticed is that there is a lot of random grocery spends. We were holidaying at this point, we had not set a budget. It was kind of just, let's just freeload it a little bit, and yeah, it was it was definitely a drain. No regrets drain, but I think if we had been more disciplined we could have put a considerable amount away. I also have been working from 2 different bank accounts. I just haven't changed my part-time income to come into our main account for some stupid reason. That's going to be a really fun transition, so I'm going between 2 different banks and I'm uploading it as we go. But I mean, the thing with all these random food spends here and there's no system in place, and when there's no plan there's always going to be an overspend. Now look, I'm not here to beat myself up, I'm here to get real. All those grocery spends are not necessary. I could have easily have made a plan with my husband around what meals we were going to eat, budget accordingly, and then save that little bit extra for a proper outing, but we didn't. And that's just highlighting an area where we need to grow in financially and spiritually. So let's see how we've done next month. February was the same kind of story as January, and this is the underlying theme that's punctuating this entire exercise. It's all chaotic and without any form of discipline. Now this might sound controversial, but Satan loves chaos. This exercise is allowing me to gain crystal clear clarity on how we've been spending and rein it in so we can aim clearly at our targets. And I would so encourage you to do this too if you're feeling at all overwhelmed with your finances and want to take back control, remove the chaos, and live in alignment with your goals and values. I've just finished inputting March, and have a look at this. This is how much we have dipped into savings unnecessarily. At this point of our savings, we've got multiple different accounts open for different savings, different expenses. While there were a few like random income streams such as reimbursements, we bulk buy meat on behalf of my parents, so they will pay the money in as part of their contribution and then we'll buy it. So like things like that. But like this number is ridiculous. And it's actually honestly, it's quite confronting seeing exactly how much we're overspending due to poor planning, essentially. Oh, so we finished March, we're on to the next one. Let's see if April is any better. As I'm inputting April, I am remembering that in February we moved cities, so there are a lot of unbudgeted costs with the move, with not having our groceries set up, buying a few new items for our home. Prior to this we were living with my parents, prior to that we were renting our house. February we had quite a few like anomalies with the house city move. Moving forward to March, it was our youngest son's first birthday and we hosted a birthday party, and while we did it at home we did spend quite a bit of money on the groceries because we hosted a lunch, which was lovely, and we bought some really nice decorations that we will be able to reuse again. However, again, we just didn't budget for this, so let's just see how the April inputting goes. I'm in the middle of April and it's funny going through these because I'm like reliving all these memories, and I've just hit this sort of like snag, I guess, where I've got payments that have gone out but they've bounced back because we haven't had enough funds in the account, and it was for things like rent, our automatic payments for our expenses that we put aside for the end of the month. Yeah, it's just a bit honestly it's really like confronting being like, oh, we actually didn't have enough money to pay for a roof over our heads. While it was very quickly remedied before, like it was due, we pay a couple of days in advance, it's still this kind of feeling of like we actually just didn't have enough. So yeah, it feels kind of sad looking back and being like, man, we actually just didn't have it under control. That's quite challenging. So yeah, let's see how we go at the end. Yeah, this is a good wake up call. So if you've been in this position where you haven't had enough money to pay rent, you haven't enough money to keep the power on or whatever, this is your sign. Download the Co-Plenty Advanced Budget Planner and just get your stuff together. Alright, let's keep working. It's now been 5.5 hours that I've been putting all the numbers in, and it's taking me extra long because we have 2 bank accounts. One is our joint account where my husband's income comes in, and then one is my personal account where my income comes in, and then I will purchase, I don't know, groceries, coffees, whatever from that, and then sometimes I'll transfer it over, sometimes I'm not. It's been very messy. So I changed that. So going forward, my income will be received to our joint account, which means I will only have one account to do all the bank reconciliations from. So if your accounts are split, combine them, you're all sharing the money anyway. There's been some pretty intense revelations, I guess, about where our money has gone, where it's being wasted, but that's all part of the process really. So here's where we're at, 6.5 months of data. The patterns are emerging and I'm really being able to see where and where not our money has lined up with our values. So let's do a quick overview and then I'm going to go through our game plan. So before we get started into this, just a bit of a disclaimer, not all of these figures are accurate because of that cross account pollination I was telling you about. So far we can see our total income has been $51,939.46 and these are our expenses, and this isn't fully accurate. I've just kind of balanced it out so that I'm starting from a clear slate as of tomorrow, but you can see where our income over here has gone up according next to our expenses. We've got our expected and actual income, same thing for bills, subscriptions and memberships, savings, expenses, debt, and then if I scroll over here we can see where all of our rent, groceries, home, emergency savings. This is where most of our money goes currently with the breakdown. So the next 6 months, well, the next really 6 to 18 months, we're going to be really knuckling down on upping up our emergency savings and significantly decreasing our groceries. So January, oh my goodness, this is our travel month. There's a lot of up and down money, and this is also where my husband was finishing his job. Yeah, we actually weren't investing in this month. We weren't tithing, you can see up here. I didn't pay any debt off, so we're off to a good start. Now going into February, this is the month where my husband got a new job and we moved cities, so the income, as you can see over here, is quite consistent. He's got his payout there and then a half week, and then we've just started to get into work here. I only have one pay this week, and then we actually sold a few extra things, so we've got a bit more money. Again, there is no tithe, there are no investments, no debt payoff either, so it's all just a bit of a mess. And yeah, there's just like groceries. We did buy a lawnmower, so quite a big expense, but yeah, it's really just a mess. Like there's just, so let's have a look at where all of our money went. Okay, so the home, that was mostly the lawnmower, our rent and our groceries. That is more than double what we're kind of aiming for. 20% of our take-home pay. We'll work on that. Again, here's March. So March was a bit of a flop month as well. I don't even know what's going on here, but I know what it is that we were tapping into savings that we'd set aside, so our left to spend is in the negative. Again, I haven't updated, this is just the transactional updates, this is not including all of the money that we've pulled down out of savings, but this is what we've overspent. Oops, that's what our overspend is. Our expenses and our income are just not balancing out, and that is just a recipe for a debt cycle. Again, we've got no tithing. We've got some investing. We've started Liberty Trust this month towards our home deposit, which is really exciting. But again, our grocery bill down here, $14.85.12, that is just way too high. And then our rent looks a bit funny. We didn't plan properly and it went all over the show. It's also our son's birthday. It's just clearly evident that we have not been saving and putting funds aside. We didn't have a sinking fund at this point. Everything is just, going to the dog. Lots and lots of purchases here. Moving on to April, we're also spending more than what we can afford. Again, our balance overview is just shocking, like all these dips into the negative and the quick spikes with income and then spending, income, spending, income, spending. There's no tithe. We weren't actually in a church at this point, but we weren't putting the tithe aside. It was just getting spent. We were investing again in Liberty Trust, but we've pulled down on our CFDs. That's not a good start. This has gone up and down in the past few months. My next step is to update our net worth, but I just haven't got there yet because this took so long. We've started doing bulk buying here. We're on the path to decreasing our groceries. I can see it's under 2k this month, which is great. So on average that's about 500 a month, and we want to bring it down to 150. I've done the math and I've done the research, but I haven't been as prepared as I would like to be. So that's, yeah, again, great that it's coming down, but it's still way too high. Lots of takeaway months this month. What's our takeaway? Yeah, oh, it's not that bad. 114.40. It's still higher than what I'd like it to be, but we can work on that. Moving on to May. So May is our busy month of the year. We have my birthday, my husband's birthday, Mother's Day, and our eldest son's birthday. So it's always a bit of a blow to the budget, which is just another reason why we need to be putting funds aside for these things or purchasing things in advance. Again, let's have a look here. No tithe. We were actually attending a church at this point, but we just weren't tithing. That's been something that has been on our hearts, which we see changing the next month. Let's go down to see what our food, okay, cool. We're also now well under, we've almost halved it from last month. We're down to 1124. We had a big injection here, so that was just some additional funds. We were able to pay through that, but it wasn't, it's not good enough for us to be relying on just random injections of cash. While it did help and kind of gave us a bit of a lifesaver, it didn't, it's not sustainable to be relying on that. Really happy that we've got our groceries down to 1100. Just to note as well though, we do have this milk fund, 140. We buy milk from a farm, and sometimes we'll buy our eggs, we'll buy our produce from there. But our goal is for that number to be at $100. Moving on to June, so I'm not really sure what has gone on here. We had another injection of cash come in. This was our tax refund money plus some sales from some online listings that we had, and look, here we go. We have actually started our tithe. We did actually tithe a little bit more than this. It was part of a business expense. That's in a different spreadsheet, but you can see that we're actually starting to hit a little bit of equilibrium here. Besides this overview, our groceries have come out unfortunately, but we haven't dined out. We've done no shopping. Petrol is like what I would consider quite typical for us, but then spending almost $200 at the bakery is just, that's a little bit out of control. We've also properly began to invest. We've started investing in crypto. Our Liberty Trust is pretty consistent, and we were able to top up our CFDs by $1,000, which was a real blessing. That can be quite a bit of lucrative money in there. Moving over to our emergency savings, we were able to top that up. Our buffer budget is just getting destroyed. Our sinking funds for our car are going up. We've started doing it for our meat as well. And this is, we'll tap into this in a couple of months to buy another 25 kilos of meat. That is a significant reduction into our food costs. Moving on to July, this is only halfway through. Today is the 20th, so I'll do a proper review once we hit the end of the month. And this is what we currently have sitting in our checking account. We're expecting funds in on Tuesday. Again, our tithing is doing so much better. Our groceries are low, but it's not the end of the month yet, but I'm striving to keep this number under 600 this month. Petrol's a bit higher than usual. Power's a little bit higher than usual, but we've been paying in advance, but it's really good to see how much we're actually putting in. We've started investing for both of our children. We haven't put anything into crypto yet or our CFDs, and our Liberty Trust is going well, but this isn't reflective of what we have in our balances. I'll top that up in our net worth dashboard. This is yet to be populated, but for now this is where we're anticipating more paychecks here and here, which I will be updating soon. But that is so far the summary of where we're at in the month of July, with currently $24.55 in our checking account. There it is, 6.5 months of raw financial data from 2025. Raw embarrassing data, I should say. Now this isn't a productivity vlog. This is a call to sort your finances out, even if it's messy. Actually, especially if it's messy. So here's your challenge. Download the Code Plenty Advanced template using the link down below and use my code RL10 to get 10% off. Pick 1 month of your finances. Start there, just one. Pop it in the spreadsheet. Thank you for coming along as I've broken down the last 6 months of our finances. Going forward, I will be doing monthly financial reviews showing our income, expenditure, how we manage to tithe, save, invest, and keep all of those other expenses down low, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Thanks, and I'll see you again next time.